All right. Hello, everybody. Grady Paulson, the American Agency. So excited to have Dylan Priest on with us. Dylan has been with us for about 2 years now. Tremendous success in different industries, which I'm excited for him to share about. But I mean, I love using tabloid lines like crack the code and break the bank and stuff like that. But dude, for you to be at the level of production you are at is truly something that takes grit and effort. I know you've got a partner. I know you've got systems, and I'm excited to dig into all of it. But Dylan has consistently written over $100,000 issue paid, not just submitted. He didn't get a couple big annuities, sent them off and crossed his fingers and posted about it. They got issued. They're on the IP report. They're in HCMS. He's been recognized for it. He's gotten bonuses for it, and life is good. And now he's excited to continue to grow. He's working on building his team, and he's also working on continually selling at that incredibly high level. So, but this is someone who's taken some licks and has made the decision to not get knocked down and let it keep him down. He's made a decision to push through and has become tremendously successful in this business. And the future is bright for you, bro. But I'm excited to dig into your business, your story, your sales process, and everything. But without further ado, I'd love for you to share a little bit about yourself and some background on how we got to this point today.
Yeah. So my name is Dylan Priest. I've been in sales for like 15 years or so. Started back in like Rocket Mortgage days, selling like over the phone, just your normal typical things. Got introduced to FFL from Ryan Manrique. I ignored it a little bit because I was like, I don't know. I kind of had a bad taste from like a captive agency prior, and just kind of hour-long Zoom calls and just bait and twist sales tactics, and like the gross comp was like 50%, right? And there's had to be a better way of doing that. So I went back to mortgages because I was doing really well with that. And I realized that like I didn't want to be held to interest rates or a market, right? And the sales process was like super, super long, 30 days or more to get like a small little commission. But I ended up like messaging him back. I only had like $100 to spend 100 leads. So he kind of helped me out with some Alaska age leads. So thank you, Ryan. And I was able to turn that into $600-700 and then keep growing that and reinvesting like I am now. And now we have a company that's doing $500,000 to $1 million in revenue every single year and still growing. So pretty crazy in 2 years. So thank you so much, Ryan. You're a blessing, and I wouldn't be here without you. So
that's awesome. I love Ryan. They built an amazing team in Morgan and Office and all the stuff that they're doing. Just awesome team. So, but let's dig in a tiny bit more. So I remember you shared with, you were in mortgages. You ran a team of 300 people. You just said you didn't want to be tied to interest rates and the fluctuations of market. Like what was, there's still people that are in mortgages making some money, right?
Yeah.
But so what was it that insurance showed to you that helped you make that leap? Because it's what you knew. I'm sure you had a client list. You're probably making some overrides. You said you had a huge team you were overriding. Like, it takes a big commitment, especially with a family, to walk away from an income, walk away from a career.
Yeah, it was. So like my wife is my rock, right? Like if it wasn't for her, and I tell people this all the time, your partner is going to either make you or break you in what you want to do in life, right?
Amen.
And so I had a pivotal point where my wife's mom was going through cancer and living with us, and I was working 12, 14-hour days at a very big company, which I won't name names, but I realized I was just a number to them when I was going through something very, very important, and I already had the time off, and they kept just calling, blowing me up, saying, come back, come back. So when I finally had the breaking point, I looked at my wife, and I was like, hey, I am done with this. When can I like start working my way out? And she was so excited to hear that. She's like, just do it now. Like, we'll figure it out. And I went to be a broker as a mortgage person, and it was like 8% interest rates. It was super hard. So I was Ubering to get income while also getting clients at the airport to try and sell them, right? So like I was selling in my own Mercedes-Benz Uber card just to like make a profit and make something while studying for my life insurance exam. Because I'm like, I need a new license that's going to like take me places and be able to be an actual roadmap and not be dictated by a credit score or like an interest rates going up high and then waiting 30, 40, 50 days. So I really started diving into that. And that's where that pivotal point was, is I just had that one little moment that I realized I was a number, and I didn't want to do that anymore. And I wanted to build something for myself that I can truly be proud of and love what I do, no matter how much time I'm putting into it.
Amen, bro. I love that for you and for your family. So now you did share that you spent a little bit of time at a captive company. What was kind of your experience? Just because there's people that watch this, that are watching, that are deciding, do we want to be with this company? Should I leave where I'm at? Should I look at this? Like they just don't understand, right? Like I was blessed to have found FFL as the first company. I think God was like, he suffered enough as an entrepreneur selling, energy drinks and lotions and potions and trying to recruit people at the mall, like trying to do my MLMs and stuff, that he was like, all right, he's done suffering. We're going to give him FFL to start with. But most people don't realize that we're the Tom Brady of insurance. If Tom Brady had a bunch of sold insurance and then had an agency and dominated everything and won 7 Super Bowls, that's FFL. But most people don't get to join the Patriots during the historic run. We fortunately do. So I digress. How would you explain kind of your experience working at a captive place versus what you have the availability to do now?
So captive and non-captives are interesting, right? I think they're for different types of people. But when you're working at a captive company, what that means is that you're held to their products, their underwriting, their decision-making, their commission structure, like everything that they want you to do. So it's great because they were providing leads, but they were just super bait and switchy almost. The sales tax, the gross comp, like I said, was 50% or lower. And we're dialing all day. So Mondays were our dialing days. And we're just sitting there and hand dialing these leads. Hopefully that these the old age veterans would pick up the phone. And then we would have a conversation with them, explain their veteran benefits, and then ultimately move them into a different product, right? And then it takes 6-7 weeks for it to underwrite, and then you get 50% of that, and then all this other crazy mess. And it's an hour-long Zoom process. So I couldn't truly be remote. I couldn't truly leave and be in Japan like I was in April and work. And have a conversation while I'm in a subway and closing somebody, right? I can't do that when I'm captive. I was literally held to my computer in a Zoom call, and I had to be in that Zoom if they showed or not. And I just was there's no way. So I left and went back to mortgages, and then I'm I don't want to do this. And I hard pivoted back to FFL, found out it wasn't captive, found out that we had tons of carriers we can work with and partner with. And that truly gave me the freedom to be able to grow and build this into something I want to do.
That's awesome. You were in Japan in April?
Yeah. So we went for 3 weeks. And dude, it was awesome. While we were in Japan for 3 weeks, I wrote 30,000 and paid for the whole trip and then some. And we were able to do whatever we wanted to. It was great. But I was waking up at 4 a.m. because I was 12 a.m. here the day before. So I was a day ahead, and I was working 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. so I can meet 12 to 5 p.m. in other areas of the time the day previously, so I can still work appointments.
But that's commitment. That is something that we have the ability to do, right? If you were selling real estate, you'd be answering the call whenever and trying to push through title and dealing with the mortgage guy and finding out if they've got proper funding. And then, oh my God, they just applied for a new car loan the 2 days before it's supposed to close, and it messes the whole, you'd be dealing with the exact same stuff.
Yep.
This way you do the sale and you get it deposited in 2 days while you're on the subway in Okinawa, checking out Danielson and Cobra Kai over there. So that's incredible. That's incredible. Okay.
It's really cool.
All right. So I want to go right to the beginning and then get to present, and then let's get into some script stuff, because that's what's really going to take people. So Ryan gives you $600 worth of aged Alaska leads. Shout out Ryan for taking care of his new guy he's betting on. And shout out to you for dialing them, because that's the problem, right? I'll buy agents leads and they'll be like, I'm waiting for the power dialer to come out. I'm like, dude, just call them. Call them. They're leads. I didn't rip a page out of the white pages and hand it to you. I bought these. These are ethos card abandonment leads. They're $18 a pop. I bought you 100 of them. Call them. Make some money, right? So moving on. We're moving back. So you start dialing leads, then kind of fast forward through. How do you go from that to 100K months?
So let me get a drink here. So I think we've got to go back to the very beginning of my story, where I got this grit and drive from. So I had a lot of adversity and setbacks, even since I was really, really young. Right? My dad passed away to cancer when I was 9. My mom had to work 2-3 jobs to stay afloat. I had teachers yelling at me in the hallway when I was 9 years old, saying I was going to be dumb, a dropout, not going to do anything in society. hopefully that never happens now because that was the 90s, right? but like you're still like you're this 9-year-old kid getting told that you're going to be amount to nothing. And it lit a little spark in me. So I was like, no, like that's not going to be me. Like I'm the only male in my family. So like I have to do something. And then fast forward to high school, I found my love to sales. It doesn't discriminate where you came from or your background, and I can get paid and what I felt was I was worth. And no matter how much time and effort I put into it, I would get paid accordingly to that, right? And then 2016, it really all just flipped. To kind of give some context, my kid was like turning 1. I had a motorcycle accident. I had going up Yarnell, it's like the North Place here, 2 lanes up. A truck dropped gravel. I fell down a mountain 40 feet, broke my back in 8 places. Had a pretty cool turtle cell though. A lot damaged my hips, lost my memory, forgot how to talk and walk, and like imagine having a conversation like this and you physically can't get it out, and like you're just struggling, or you can't tell your foot to move and you're dragging yourself through the floor to like change your kid's diaper, right? Because like you have responsibilities. So like, and I was the only sole income, so like I was constantly trying to push myself to go back to work and being told I can't because I'm living on disability, which is 30% of $10 an hour because commissions didn't matter. So like, you know, at that point in time, you're either going to figure it out or lose everything. And it was either figure it out. So like food banks, random side jobs, hustle, get through the pain every other day. So I still limp a lot. My hips go out every once in a while, but it's just a constant reminder that if I can overcome that at 22, then I can just use this as a fuel and motivator that helps me set myself to very high standards and keep pushing myself. Because there's no excuses, because if I can do it, everyone can do it. There's no such thing as pity parties. You just gotta make the calls. And dialing, like this is your cell phone, this is your bank account, your ATM. Like you need money, just pick up the phone. What's the worst thing they know that they're gonna do? Cuss you out and say no? Cool, move on to the next one, right? So how I got to that point is just grit and just keep putting the effort. And no matter how crazy life gets and how stressful it gets, I just know that if I put in the time and the effort, it's going to happen. And if I buy the leads and have the volume, there's no way you can't like win, because you're just calling people that need this. And this is truly like when you go through a life experience like this, it changes your perspective on how you're helping people with life insurance and the benefits of it. Because if I had this back then, I wouldn't be stressed. So I know that's kind of full circle. I'm not sure if I answered your question there, so I apologize. But
no, first off, we're so glad you're okay, and that's crazy experience, and the fact you've healed to the level you have is modern medicine's amazing, and holy cow. But to have made it through that, and weaker people would just go, disability, it's free, let's just live on less, honey. This is free money now. We've met those clients. They're like, you're 32 and you make $800 a month for 12 years. How do you, okay. But you have made a decision to not let it hold you back, and to find a path and to develop the skills to win. And I loved you said that. So let's all just show him some love and drop win in the chat below and shout out for healing. Like, cause that's a decision you had to make. And there was, I'm sure, therapy, there's medicine, there's vitamins, there's stretching, there's PT, there's all kinds of stuff that you had to endure, and you did. And now you're winning at one of the highest levels in society. And that's a decision you had to make, dude. So I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, but I'm so proud to see the man who you really are, that you're not someone who just gives up, because weaker people would. So
yeah, I mean, to second that a little bit, like, yeah, there's, like you said, there's clients that give up and there's people that give up and don't give up. But the thing is, like, yeah, you got to take shots every day, or yeah, you got to do things to maintain yourself. But if you don't like give up, then how can you lose? And you owe that to yourself and your family and just your life. And like, we can only change what we want to change, and it's up to us to do it, right? If we don't do it, then we're just going to stay stagnant and complain about someone else's life. Why do that? Just own your own stuff. So.
Amen, bro. I had a mentor say one time, he's like, if you want something bad enough in life, 2 things will happen. Either make it happen or you'll die. That's it. You just keep going forward until you make it happen, or you hit the end of life. And so you made it happen, man. So,
and it's a blessing, because it brought me to where I am today and made me a stronger person. So that's all I can be grateful for. It's all God's plan. So
So if anyone's out there going through some stuff, don't go up to Yarnell in a motorcycle right now, but just understand that it could be a heck of a lot worse, and that your situation will pass, because things most often always do. And at the same time, work on developing you, whether it's personal development. It doesn't have to be insurance trainings with Grady on YouTube. It can be Jim Rohn's and Brian Tracy's and Les Brown's and Darren Hardy's and Mel Robbins and all these people that have a way to help us think and see and believe differently about ourselves. That's one of, I mean, I'd imagine there's a history of personal development in your life that you have subscribed to that has allowed you to think and believe the way you are. Is that true?
Constant. Like, I'm no different than other people, right? Like, I get depressed days, I get like unmotivated days where I don't want to do anything, but like, you just push yourself, right? So I'm constantly doing podcasts. I go to the gym every day to make sure I can stay moving and limber, right? And help yourself, because if you work out and take care of your body, you take care of yourself, and you have to put yourself first, because if you can't put yourself first and personally develop yourself, how can you truly develop other people or help a client? Like, you can't. You have to help yourself. You have to develop yourself so you can develop other people into great people.
Amen. All right. Let's jump into the fun stuff now. So adversity, $600 in leads. Fast forward, where did Dylan Priest, the sales ninja, come from? Like, so how did you get here? Who is he? Where is your magic cape? And do you sell them on Amazon yet? So how, like, to help us out?
Not yet. We'll sell them soon on Amazon, though. It might be the magical priest cape. So I had a really big pivotal moment, probably, I want to say almost a year ago, back in August, when we had the first top producer cruise for FFL, where we went to the Bahamas. Phenomenal experience. If anyone strives to do something like that, you should, because you learn so much on those trips. Because you're around everyone that's a top producer that's either doing 100, 250K or more, right? So I was able to really network and gain some insight on that, and really kind of get my system together. And that's where I found Lead Champ Pro, actually, through Josh. Started connecting with him, talking to him a little bit, got on board with the CRM because I was building my own. And I'm like, this is a lot of work and time is deducting from my sales. And they already had a system kind of going. So I integrated into that. And that really kind of helped me take to the next level, because I had everything streamlined at that point. They were sending text message drips. They were following up with them. They're really hitting everybody at the same time, multiple times, that I could barely deal myself with the phone, right?
Sure.
So I had my dad doing that, and then I decided to take the leap of faith and increase my lead spend dramatically. So instead of buying, like, just going on like ILC, I took the matter into my own hands and started getting my own ad management going. And I started saying, okay, instead of spending like $75 a day and be safe, I work best when my back's against the wall. So I just threw $250 a day at it and said, hey, let's figure out how this goes.
Let's go.
And that's what took me from 20, 30K a month to 50 to 100K a month consecutively. And then I hit another like little pivotal smack, and Facebook made their little changes, and we had some issues with lead flow the last like probably 3 months. So guess what I did to correct that? Throw more money at it, because I have all the stats and metrics of like how many leads I need to have coming in per month to have the volume to sustain that type of production, regardless if the leads or quality dips a little bit. And so we're now going to be ramping up to about 400 to 600 a day ad spend to maintain volume and quality, and also help kickstart our program that we're launching here as of probably the end of the week or today.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots
to
of
recap,
money.
You found Lead Champ on the cruise last year, which is a great thing, guys. This year, Cancun, they switched they did 2 cruises, and then this year it was a Cancun trip. Did you? I know you qualified.
Yeah, I'm going.
You get the Jaguar level, or some sort of elite level of something. But annually, corporate will do on top of everything, guys. So we got our high comp, I can't go through it all. There's so many benefits, from the producer bonuses, the carrier bonuses, carrier comp, VP bonus, all the stuff. On top of that, they do a trip for the people that hit a certain level of production, very doable level of production. And they took 2 cruises, 2 years ago, cruise last year, and then this year it's a Cancun retreat where you get connected to other top producers. You find out about Lead Champ, and then you have the system now to back up the investment. That's the big thing, right? If they were just coming into like old school Google Sheets and you're watching them populate and and then you're trying to copy it here and then download it and put it in a phone burner or just hand dial it on a phone or an Android, which makes it even harder. But then you got the system to then let the leads. Now, do you use their AI stuff to book appointments for you?
Oh yeah, everything. So like I probably like I use probably every tool they have to offer, and when they have a new one out, I'm like, sign me up, let's just do it. Like I'll be your test dummy, I don't care, because I have all the volume and the data that they can get, and I also get the data back and forth. So it's kind of like a mutual, like great partnership because of the data. But yeah, I use all their AI texting, all their SMS. So like even as we're having a conversation right now, they're getting called and texts already, setting appointments. Like I got 4 that just booked already. So like it's just constant like trying to maintain and be on top of everything. And as a one person, right, you can only do so much. So now it's like I have a full team with a CRM because now they're texting, they're AI dripping, they're booking appointments automatically. They go through a landing page, they get a video of me warm selling them before they even get booked, and before I even call them, they're getting another video to verify my license. Like it's doing so much for me that one person would take like hours to do, and it's great. So it gives me a little bit more time and freedom, but allows me to now grow and catapult myself a little further, which is why I was able to do 153K in April, I want to say.
While in Japan?
Yeah.
Just guys, that's it. That's issue paid on his own personal pen. So we're clear. Yeah. Again, not a big annuity, not a team of 40, one guy
Just me.
And a great CRM. And I mean, I love them because there's a lot of CRMs out there. And a lot of people that make them with their teams, guys that wrote $8,000 one time 6 months ago, try to become a CRM guy. Jamie and Josh combined have written over almost 4 million issue paid as the owners of that company. So they know everything that the producer's going to, and they still write 40,000 a month right now while running it. So, top producers, take a look at it. There's a reason why they all use it. So 153 in Japan. Oh my God. My wife, she's gonna be like, you need to get back in the field.
My wife yells at me all the time, dude. She's like, can you just make calls? Because we crush it when we make calls. I'm like, I'm trying to build these systems. I'm trying to do what I can. But yeah, sure.
Okay. Let's talk about selling now. All right.
Yeah.
So we got all these appointments. We got AI working. We got all the drips and the texts and all the things working. You got to have, some is it NLP or NEPQ? You got to have some, or you got your cape, right? The DP sales ninja cape. What are you saying now when you have, because they're all appointments, right? So you can dial, hey, ring, ring, calling you back, but now you're calling an appointments. Let's just go down that path because that's what you do consistently daily. You got an appointment. They've gotten some texts of the system. They've gotten a verified producer website from you that verifies your information. They've got some warming up. Talk about that. And then let's talk about how you're calling them. What are the words? What's the Dylan Priest 30, 60, 90-second script to take control on the phone?
Yeah. So I foreshadow everything. Like that's a huge saver. I don't get objections because I foreshadow. And if I get objections, I just go right back to the foreshadow. And it sounds kind of like this. So my first 15 seconds of my appointment, or even if I'm calling out about cold calling, it doesn't change. It's just a slight intro change, right? So it's like, hey, Grady, just give me a call. My name is Dylan Priest. Give me a call for a scheduled IUL appointment here to talk about, cash value growth, retirement accounts. We've now still a pretty good time. And they'll say, yep. I go, cool. So just so you have an understanding of what we're going to do today, it's going to be super quick, 10, 12 minutes. I'll make sure you have a basic understanding of what this is. And I'm going to ask you some questions and take some notes on that to help me understand how we should structure this for you and if it even makes sense for your situation. Then towards the end of the call, if we have some time, we can go over some examples of some real world numbers of how this would look like in your situation by sharing my screen to your phone. How does that sound for you? And then they go, cool. And I dive right into it and just explain what an IUL is. It's literally just an educational piece. So I make them sell themselves. So do you want to go through the whole thing, or like, what do you?
I want the whole thing. I want to hear all the, how you explaining it. This is the one. This video is gonna go viral. It's gonna be that good.
Cool. So let's role play then. So awesome. So let's dive right in then, Grady. So this is an investment grade life insurance policy. So we want to make sure that there's nothing that's, going to keep you from qualifying for one. I'm going to have some health and financial questions towards the end, but what got you interested in IUL to begin with?
I don't think I'm saving enough for
Okay.
retirement, and I don't want to work forever. So the Facebook looked interesting, and I just want to learn more about it.
Okay. Cool. Now tell me a little bit about how you know how an IUL works, and I'll fill in the blanks from there.
I don't really know anything
No?
about it. I just have seen it on TikTok and Facebook, and I feel like it could be better than a 401k because I just don't. I can't put. I'm kind of limited to what I can put into a 401k.
Sure. No worries. A lot of my clients feel the same way. So what I'll do, if you don't mind, I'll just fill in the blanks from here and go top to bottom. Is that okay?
Please.
Cool. So first and foremost, like I said, this is called an investment grade life insurance policy, not just an investment. I point this out because if it was just an investment, the IRS could tax it. You'd have the ability to lose money in the stock market. And obviously losing money is not fun, right?
No.
Nope. So with an IUL, if you get approved and you pay that first payment and you sadly, God forbid, pass away the next day, your beneficiary is going to get a substantial death benefit. So it protects your family if you die, but also has living benefits if you qualify. So that means it protects you while you're still alive. If you get hurt, sick, disabled, heart attack, stroke, and more, you can actually tap into that death benefit money while you're living. Now, the rest of the money that you deposit is going to go into a savings account. It's called a cash value accumulation account. And it's going to earn interest and compound an average annual rate, typically around 8 to 12%. Now, it does work like this. So since it's a type of life insurance, you make a payment every single month, just like you would your car insurance, your homeowner's insurance, your cell phone. But the way it works is a portion of this payment goes into the cost of insurance. That's what's going to give you that death benefit, those living benefits, and ultimately make it a life insurance policy. But because of that, is what keeps Uncle Sam's hands out of it when you want to take money out. Does that make sense so far?
It does.
Cool. Now, Grady, do you know what a 401k is?
Yeah.
Cool. Have you ever put money into one like a 401k or an IRA?
Yeah. I got a match through Nancy at HR right now. She helped me set it up.
That's awesome. Hey, keep doing that. You can't turn down free money. You definitely don't want to do that. So, as you know, then your 401k is in some sort of like stock market mutual fund portfolio. And when the stock market goes up, you make money, but when it goes down, you lose money, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yep. So, Grady, with an IUL, it's not exactly that way. So, you do participate if the stock market goes up and you get a really good interest rate. But if it goes down, you actually have a guarantee that you're not going to lose any money. So, for instance, between the years 2019 and 2021, right, the market did very, very well. And a lot of the IUL policies across all the different carriers we work with, you have earned 8, 10, 12% or more during those years. But in 2022, it tanked. COVID hit, right? So my own personal IRA went down about 20%. So if say you had 100,000 in the account, well, now you'd have 80. But if you had an IUL that year, you might have earned 0, maybe 1%, right? You wouldn't have made a lot of money, but you wouldn't have lost anything, unlike everybody else. I mean, you still have 100K.
Wow.
Now, real quick, Ray, let's do a quick scenario. I just want you to imagine that you have 100,000 in a 401k and you have 100,000 in an IUL and the market drops 10%. How much would you have in your 401k?
90,000.
Yep. Now, how much would you have in your IUL?
100,000.
Yep. Now, let's say the very next year the market goes up 10%. The same amount went down. How much do you have in your 401k now?
99,000.
Yep. And in your IUL?
110,000.
Exactly. Does that make sense so far?
It does. Yeah.
Cool. Exactly. That's the whole purpose of not losing money. The market
Okay.
did the same thing in both scenarios, right? As in the 401k and the IUL. The difference is you gained 11,000 from not losing any money. On top of that, do you know who Warren Buffett is by chance?
Yeah. Yes.
Cool.
Or
Do you know? There you go. Do you know his first two rules of investing?
I don't.
Rule number 1, never lose money. And rule number 2, always refer back to rule number 1. Because hey, if you don't lose money, you can't lose, right?
That's very good.
Yeah. So that's kind of how the money and interest is applied. The money is going to grow tax deferred, and when you want to take it out, it's tax free as well. Have you ever taken money out of 401k or ever know anyone that has?
I think my sister did to buy a car, and she got hit a penalty. I think I don't remember. She wasn't too happy about it, but she got a new car.
Yeah. So she paid the penalties and taxes then pre-accrued to there, huh?
Yeah.
So the nice thing is though, this is actually a huge benefit to an IUL. So your IUL can actually protect your 401k. So here's what I mean. Let's say next time you have some financial emergency or something like that, instead of getting penalized and taxed to death when you go take money out of your 401k, don't do that. Leave it there so it keeps growing, compounding, but instead tap into your IA wall and save your 401k for retirement. Now, in addition to that, Grady, do you remember 2008, just how tough that was?
I was younger then. I don't remember
Younger?
2008.
No worries. So I'll give you a little backstory. The market tanked almost 50%. It was pretty
Oh,
crazy.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
The housing market crash. Yeah. I had a friend of mine, they had grandparents, they went to retire, they had $1 million in the bank, and all of a sudden they had 600 grand and they had to try and live off that money. And eventually they ran out. And so, Grady, if that does happen to you, we're already talking today. So you'll be able to lean on your IA well. So let's say that does happen, God forbid. You'll stop taking money out of your 401k that year. Instead, you actually take money out of your IA well. So now you have time for the market to rebound, and that way you can take your money out of the 401k again when the market's good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great. Now, do you mind if I just rattle off some financial and health questions to see if you may even qualify for a product like this and take some notes on it?
Health questions. Why
Yeah.
health questions?
Well, the health questions are more so to make sure that you can qualify because these are a type of life insurance policy, not just an investment. So they
Okay.
don't actually like pull credit, but they are going to verify how healthy you are through the MIB report. That's the Medical Information Bureau. Quite simply, just making sure there's nothing crazy like cancer or anything like that.
Okay.
Cool. So, like I said, I'll ask you some quick financial history questions, and we'll take the money that you have excess of to set aside. That way, it's going to maximize and grow as much as possible. Okay. So, I just want you to think of your budget on a monthly basis. And on your very worst months, when the tires are falling off the car, nothing seems to be going right, you got to give Johnny a birthday present, right, that you weren't expecting. What would be the absolute minimum amount you can see yourself setting aside and growing for your retirement?
200.
200K. Now, let's think about on the flip side of that, right? Now, let's say everything's going right. And if you really push yourself, knowing the more you put in, the more you're going to get out of this, what would be the absolute most per month that you can say set aside and grow?
Probably 500 to 1,000.
Okay. So let's talk about that real quick. So we can't predict the future, right? So how many months, say last year, if you took it out on the percentage over 12 months, how many were 200 and how much was the 500?
Usually Christmas would be a 200 month because little Johnny needs a bunch of new toys. But probably a third would be 200, and then a third would be 500, and a fourth would be a third would be 1,000.
No worries. So very good. So there's just so you know, there's two types of money that people put into these kind of accounts, right? Sometimes it's a lump sum. This could be from an old, investment account, IRA, 401k. Maybe you get a bonus at the end of the year, or you keep, tax returns, and of course the monthly contributions like we just talked about. So a lot of my clients, they can see, I foresee maybe a different financial situation over the next year or two, where you might have some extra cash flow, like maybe you're paying off a credit card, a car, a debt. Do you see anything like that coming up in, say, October or so, or in the next 1 to 2 years that might change your financial situation?
No, we're pretty consistent. I'm just kind of, it's all new, so I really just want to maybe start with something simple. Can we add into it in the future, or
Yeah.
or get another one? I just, I just don't know a ton about these just yet.
Yeah, there's no worries. Like I said, you can actually go through this and we'll be able to like customize this for you too. This is more just to make sure it's going to make sense for you and really make sure that we're, structuring this correctly for you as well. You can always increase, decrease, and make adjustments as needed.
Okay.
But for right now, let's do this. We're going to move into your health questions really quick to see which one makes the most sense for you. What's your date of birth?
12/19/83.
Okay. Are you currently a smoker?
Nope.
Cool. Rough height and weight?
5'11" to 10.
Okay. Do you currently take medications for anything?
Nothing.
Cool. A couple yes no questions just because in case, but any heart attack, stroke, congestive heart failure?
No, sir.
Pacemaker, giant stents?
No, sir.
Okay. High blood pressure, diabetes, neuropathy?
Oh, no.
Cool. And my favorite ones, because like, how would you be able to tell about any dementia or Alzheimer's?
I don't think so.
Exactly. Now, in the last 10 years, anything in your driving record like DUI or maybe like lots of speeding tickets?
No.
Okay. Anything that would show up criminally in the last 10 years?
Nope.
Excellent. Now, Grady, I know we went through this pretty quick, and I have about 10 minutes before my next appointment. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen to your phone now. I'm going to send you a quick link through Crankwheel. Once you click that, we'll go ahead and go through the illustration together. And then that's basically my quick 10, 12-minute presentation there of how that works. And then I pivot to them through like NLG or Ethos, and I'll share my screen. I'll go through like how everything works real quick, and then I'll foreshadow the next step before I go to the application. And that sounds a bit like this. I go, cool. So great. Just so you know how the next steps work and how the approval process works. They're not going to pull credit. They're not going to pull blood or anything like that. But they are going to verify how healthy you are through that MIB report, and that's the Medical Information Bureau. And they do that by cross-referencing your prescription history with your social security number. They will ask for your driver's license number because they want to make sure there's nothing criminal on your like record, no crazy DUIs in the last 5 to 7 years. And most importantly, they will ask for your routing and account number. They do this for a couple of different reasons. One, they want to verify you are on the account, and God forbid something happens to you, they know where to pay out the living benefits to. But they want to make sure there's no financial fraud in the account either. So no like money laundering, no red flags or anything like that. But they don't charge anything today to see if you qualify, and you get to pick the day and time that you want to start if you get qualified. So with that being said, do you want to like see if you can even qualify possibly for this and kind of go from there? And then that usually by the time I'm going through with all that and the numbers, they're fine doing an application. It's the presentation that and showing the numbers that really solidifies it, because seeing is believing in my eyes. So
that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I love you're like health questions, then a crank wheel, 10 minutes till my next appointment. So urgency, and this isn't going to keep going. Then do they ever, but then you go show me an illustration and then they forget you said that. Let's just, and then you just like, okay, 45 minutes later, okay, you've been approved. But you just, the goal is to
keep the conversation going forward.
The salesman's job is to help people make decisions to improve their lives. So we have to say things at times, not that it is mischievous or lying but I'm creating urgency, but also, okay, only 10 more minutes, but then I get to see the numbers. Oh, these look great. Okay. And then you're creating this interest inside the client where they get a little butterfly feeling of, oh, can we try to get this? Cause this looks, it's going to grow to this number. And if I save now 500, then it'll create tax-free retirement income. And you get to have a lot of fun with this, but you're trying to ask questions and make statements to help people make decisions to improve their lives. That's what we do.
And as I'm going through that, so like I'm writing notes, right? So they circle back. So like the 401k questions, I don't address it right there, no matter what they say. I take note of it. And then once they already got them on the IUL, or not got them, but like showing the benefits of the IUL, then I'll show them the benefits of an annuity and how that can actually correlate with your IUL and actually work together with it. And so that's how I get a lot of my annuity clients. But you threw a little plot twist. You said 200, 500, and 1,000, right? So in that situation, what I would do with my client is we would start low. I'd start them at 200 on the illustration side, and then I would sell them 1,000. But because yours was like quarterly, so every quarter is a little bit different of amount, I would have structured this to where it'd probably be like the $300 range, but they had the max range of like they can put 12 or 1,300 a month into it without having mech level. So that's why you want to keep notes of everything that you're talking with the client, so you can circle back and have that as a resource.
Another good question to address what I did there is you could go, now, Grady, what is just your ballpark monthly or annual income? And if I go 6,000 a month, or you go, okay, so let's be in the 2 to 3 to 400, just knowing, because we think about percentages of income, right? 10% of my monthly income would be $600, right? Regardless of how good of a saver or spender, if I got kids and a wife and a house, I'm near that $600. So he doesn't want to, he's not going to pitch 1,000, regardless of if I'm who's the guy on TV? What the heck with all the books? I see, regardless if I'm the best saver, not Dale Carnegie. What's the guy on TV? Dave Ramsey. Regardless if I'm Dave Ramsey, as disciplined as they get, carving out $1,000 out of my monthly income. Now, if I go, I make $12,000 a month. My wife makes $4,000. We got $16,000 a month of cash flow. Now he goes, okay, this guy has income. We just need to adjust and allocate, pitch a better benefit on why he should, instead of, trying to flip sports cards on eBay or collecting coins or his vending machine business he's got going with his buddy from college. Like, what else? So where's all your money going? What kind of car, what cars are you driving? Like, he then can push a little bit more, get some more info and go, oh, he's got a couple grand of cash flow. He's just allocating in different places. I need to sell this harder and show bigger benefits, because a guy like myself in that situation, I'm making $16,000 a month. I now am heavily thinking about keeping that level of lifestyle going forever, right? If I'm making $16,000 a month, I don't want to stop making $16,000 a month and go back to $4,000. We're not going to live off my wife's income, right? She, So that's kind of where you know, you do. I jumped in and
Oh, you're
stole your,
good.
but that's
No,
an angle of find out what they make. What are their expenses? Where do they live? Check their zip code. What's your house? Google it. Google, put it on Zillow. Is it a $1.1 million house that he's over leveraged? Is it a $258,000 house he bought 12 years ago, and he's got 180,000 of equity in it, right? That's some information that you can then use to your benefit to be able to kind of move that client forward on what's best for them. Asking
yep,
questions to help them make decisions to improve their lives. Back
yep.
to you.
And I also sometimes double, triple book me on time slots. So regardless of like if I have an appointment coming up or not, because they're about 15-minute appointments. If they're on the phone, like I'm not going to jump into my next appointment and let them off because they're on the phone. Why would I want to jump to an appointment that may or may not show when I have someone on the phone there? So, good advice is like if you have multiple appointments stacked like that, just take your time with the person that you're talking to now, all the way from start to finish, and then you can call it back the other person or reschedule. Like it's not a big deal. I think we get too caught up in our head sometimes.
I love that you spend enough on leads and have a system where you're double booking or triple booking time slots. That's someone
Yeah.
who's betting on himself and who's
Yeah.
betting on his skill set and trusts himself to make it happen. You know,
I don't gamble. I don't like much, but I don't like going to the like slot machines and spending money that way. To me, like my gambling is like you said, it's on myself because I'm in control of myself. It's not some crazy metrics. It's just knowing your skill set. If you get enough people on the phone, you're going to make it happen. And I know if I get people on the phone, I have an 80 or higher percent close ratio. As long as I get them on the phone and I talk to them, I will close most of them. It's very rare. If it does happen, it's because we're pushing it back a day or two because they need to give me like 401k documents. So, yeah.
at your $400 to $600 a day lead spend, what are you ballpark getting a month in total leads or week in total leads? Do you know?
So we just ramped that up not too long ago. So when we were doing about 250 a day in ad spend, we were going like 450 to 550 a month in leads.
Yep.
Average cost was between $18 to $22 a lead. Then Facebook made their changes, and then so we saw our lead cost go from that to $50 to $150 a lead and $200 a lead while I'm in Japan. So I had no idea this was going on. And so I was like, weird, why is it getting like going down? So you see like my metrics, because I track everything. So you saw it go from 500 to like 300 leads a month to like 250. And I'm like, oh, we have an issue. And I didn't catch it quick enough. So now to fix it, and I did the reverse math. If it was like $40 a lead and I'm spending 600 bucks a day, I should hopefully be close to that 500 a month lead flow, which will get me back up to the 100 to 160K a month range, and then also have enough to pour into agents. So
I love it, dude. I mean, it's just come in. And I mean, this is a big thing too, guys, is Dylan understands like lead real estate, right? Not everybody's ready to buy today. Some people are lookers. Some people want more information. Now we used to talk about on a 25%, 25, 50, 25. 25% are ready to buy. 50% need to be followed up with and sold. And 25% are never going to buy. They already died and they hate their family. They just like annoying people and filling out forms. So just understand that. If that's the facts, then get to the 25% that are ready to buy as fast as possible using CRMs and tech and calls and AI, and then follow up on the 50% and just keep going. But that's the part that you've got that 50% in the middle that you're dripping on. I bet you've got appointments that book today that you got as a lead 2, 3, 6, 8 months ago, but it's finally time. And that's what that you don't get as a new agent when you buy $18.50 bronze mailer leads, call through them one time and go, this business doesn't work. Because you're not committing enough. You're not investing enough in the business. This is a business, right? Costs like what, a couple $1 million to buy McDonald's. You got, there's all these adages on franchises and businesses and starting businesses. Try buying a house and turn it into rental property. Look at $500,000 of money you got to put out there at a 6-8% interest rate to hope that you won't cash flow on because interest rates are too high. Like whatever you're looking at as far as a business and making income, there's nothing out there that equates to the potential ROI of you, grit, skill set, and time that insurance provides. So Dylan, you emulate that. I always like to close with kind of one final thing. What are you doing to solidify the sale? Meaning that like clients calling, leads, shocker, they fill out more than one form, right? It's not your lead vendor's fault. It's not the guy you bought the leads from's fault. They're shopping, right? And they're looking for someone to trust. Do they fill out a few forms? A few people are going to call them. How are you closing them down? And then what is your follow-up campaign to keep your persistency so high?
Yeah. So as soon as I close them out, I tell them like, hey, I want you to write down and put these in your numbers here, your phone. So I give them my cell phone number and I give them my direct office number. And then I immediately at that point in time, send them a text through the system that gives them all their policy information, all my information, gives them an email. And it's literally dripping on them for 30 days, specifically to make sure they got their policy in the mail. So I'm on top of them every single time. And then I follow back through and go, cool. So, hey, I want you to send a text to my office number real quick. So that way I can make sure you got the text messages and you get all communication. If anyone else reaches out to you and they are not from One Up Financial or Dylan Priest, from me specifically, then it is not your policy, has nothing to do with me. Always call me to confirm that any changes, or even if you want to cancel, that's fine. Just call me first so I make sure everything's done correctly. And I'm like, can I get a thumbs up or okay on that? And they're like, all right, cool. And then from that point in time, it goes to their system and I move on to the next one and then just kind of go from there. So you really want to just solidify them. Oh, if you don't have a virtual business card, get a virtual business card. I use Hi Hello. It's beautiful. It sends them a text link. It says hihello.dylan.priest. It has all my social medias on there, my contact information, my office number. And with the drips, it helps because your clients will get new phones. Your clients will forget about you. But I've had clients where they call me back and they're like, oh my gosh, Dylan, I forgot. I lost your number 6 months ago. I'm so happy you texted me. Like, let's go ahead and get this started. And it's beautiful when you see that because you're like, wow, this is a great feeling. But yeah, you just got to stay on top of it. So.
All right. Final thoughts, advice to everyone out there that wants to sell 100 plus a month like you.
Yeah.
Just to break free like you. What's some advice to new agents out there that are on the fence and need to be kicked over?
Don't be afraid to jump off the boat, right? Like if you're holding on to like a W-2 job, I get it, but that's also a crutch. You can start slow, and you can make a sell real quickly, but you have to become an expert in what you do to get to this production, whether that's mortgage protection, IULs. You can't put your hat in all those rings. And once I said, hey, I'm going to focus on IULs, that's when I started getting traction because now I'm just focusing on one type of lead source and then expanding out. And one of the biggest things I could probably say is don't trust in one lead source, because if that lead source goes downhill, which it will, you will have to start all over again. I learned that the hard way over the last 6 months. So now I have 3 or 4 lead sources. So that way I don't have to worry about that, hopefully. And just learn everything you can about your business, the back end, the marketing, how it works, how ads work. Know just enough to be dangerous and to not get like screwed over. So that way, when you get sick of like buying leads from vendors and you want to hire someone internally, then you know just enough to be dangerous. But if they know more than you, then you know you're making a good hiring choice because they can do more than teach you more than that, what you know. And one last final thought is no one's going to come save you. All right. Like not even God. And I mean that in a loving way, because like God and your mentors will provide you the path and the tools and everything you need to be successful in your own like individual way. But it's up to you as an individual to work hard and put that effort in to go where you want to go. No one else can do that for you.
Amen, bro. Well, Dylan, this is a long time coming, and you delivered, bro. It was awesome, and thank you for the detail and the passion and the stories and the realness and the truth. That's it, guys. You know, Dylan is a product of our incredible system, but with also massive desire for change to live a better life and provide a better life for his family, and he's doing that. And now he's excelling. So I'm so excited to see the team you're about to build and all the new great things you come up with, and you considering to continue to crush the leaderboard. So drop a DP or drop a 100, drop something, drop some heart, drop some love in the chat below for Dylan, asking for his Amazon link for his cape, but we'll keep that going. So, bro, thank you.
Man.
Appreciate you. Continue to crush. I'm so excited to see what you do now here and in the future, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on. And we have a new mentorship program launching here soon, so that'll be really fun. We're going to provide everything, even leads for everybody. So,
animal, I love it.
So cool. I appreciate it, Grady. Thanks for having me on.
All right, man, bro. We'll talk more soon. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day. The path to success is disguised with thorny ground, rocks, sunshine, and spiders. But if you can navigate all that, get to the top of the hill, success is certain. So beyond proud to be here every day. Proud all you that joined us, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.